Hello, everybody. Today, I guess we're going to be doing, I'm going to go ahead and come out with it. We're going to be doing, this is the video portion of my final stuff. And for this, basically what we want to do is take a look at an unmodded game versus a modded game. That way we can have kind of a visual representation for those of you that read my article that I wrote of how big of a real difference having mods can really make. We're just going to kind of look around here for a minute or two. I understand we're supposed to keep this to a relatively short time period. So we'll just take a look. As you can see here, in the middle of Stratus, well, southern end of Stratus, got a vehicle coming our way, so we'll get NLAW out because vehiculars are not good for our health. And we'll go ahead and boom, and that is a nice explosion, and that is a nice detonation there. What really we want to point out here, take note of the details for one, lighting effects, weaponry here. You'll notice we don't have a choice in what weapons that we started with. There is nothing here in general to give us that, and you'll notice the land here really is kind of barren. So as you can imagine, at least especially if you're playing alone, starting this mission, which is one of the basic missions that the Arma 3 Alpha comes with, really doesn't set up the options how most people would want to experience the game. I mean, there's no time acceleration. It's very lackluster. As you can see, despite the fact I just shot off an NLAW, which is a powerful anti-vehicle rocket, not much is happening in terms of that. And you'll notice, really, there's just not a lot of, at least it feels like there's not a lot of care put into this. If we take a look at the map here, the idea for this particular mission is you have to get up into this Stratus airbase or over here to the Camino firing range and basically escape the island. But the problem that a lot of people have had with this mission is that not only is it buggy, which by buggy I mean, a lot of the scripted events that are supposed to happen, such as leaving the island, don't actually work so awfully well. A lot of people tried to play it alone initially, and they had the problem that if you die, you don't get to respawn unless you have AI with you, and the AI in this game is truly awful. Which really doesn't help when you're fighting dudes who, as you can hear, I'm being shot at from over on that mountain, and obviously his accuracy is pretty godlike. That was an assault rifleman. You can see him kind of moving up there next to the tree. Regardless, again, we have to keep this rather short, so going from here, we're going to go ahead and jump over into a modded mission and show you some of that action. So we'll be back in just a moment. Alright, so we are back. Thank you guys for giving me that. Actually, probably in editing, that was probably about a split second. Here we are, though, in, you'll notice this is the map of Stratus, and you'll notice that I now have some toolbars here and there. But this is the editor that Bohemia Interactive was so kind to give modders and the players in the Arma 3 Alpha. The reason we're using this instead of any other game, which you guys probably know better, like Skyrim or something, is largely because the effects are much more immediate to every change that we make. But what we're going to do here is load up a mission that I've actually been working on for several months now. Not many people have seen it, it's still kind of rough, but as you can see here, there's a lot more stuff on the map. Triggers, which is what this flag is. There's areas that you can't see that are marked out. All these little red blips are enemies. Some items over there. We've got some more triggers and enemies down here. And in general, there's a lot more stuff. But this is us, and this is what we really want. So we're going to hit preview here, and this is going to go ahead and take us into Operation Urge and Fury by Sili, which is my moniker or tag or whatever you want to call it while we're in the online community area. And we're going to take a really close look or not really close, I suppose. We really don't have time for something like that. But we're going to take a pretty decent look at exactly what, adding probably around 15 to 20 modifications. I can't remember the exact number that I generally use, adds to us. For one, give it a moment while this loads up with everything we need. Generally loading missions in the editor kind of takes a second because it's actually got to load everything at once. What you'll immediately notice is, one, the camera position has changed. This is a mod that I have for third-person camera to make it more like a third-person shooter. So it brings it in closer and moves it a bit to the right, so it's actually more useful than the original just straight behind your character camera. Second thing you'll notice is the uniforms are a lot more detailed. These are actually custom uniforms that were made by the Armaholic community, and they are to represent Army Multicam. But you'll notice that a lot of care has been taken into detailing the camo and generally every part of the uniform. And, that really goes to say a lot towards kind of the quality we have. You'll notice I have a similar gun to the one we had before, but we're going to change that. So what we're going to do is, this is actually a weapon crate. A very close friend of mine in the Armaholic community, Al Warren, actually created the wonderful M4 pack. These weapons are not in the base game. And what we're going to do, we're going to grab the weapon, we're going to throw some sweet attachments on there, because obviously walking around without them would be totally lame. We'll grab some nice ammunition. Hear me reloading there, and then it pops back onto my back because a little bit buggy still in the alpha. But as you can see, we have this weapon now, the M4, black version, M203, grenade launcher on the bottom, small flashlight on the side, aim point dot sight, which you can see here is fully functional, and a silencer, which, when you fire it, is actually, pretty effective, all things considered. Now, note again, this is not a weapon that's in the base game. This is actually modeled through Blender and imported using, what was it? I can't remember the program name right now, so we'll skip that. But Al Warren imported it, and now using Arma 3, obviously we can use it. And, one of the hardest things to do is definitely animations, and you can see that given the slide of the weapon popping back every time you fire it, you can see the shell flying out the side. Reload actually does pull the magazine out and place a new one after pulling it from your vest. Unfortunately, they don't exactly have custom reload animations fully worked out yet, especially since we're this early in the alpha. This game doesn't actually go into the beta testing stage until mid-summer, if I remember right. But, it'll probably only get better from here, really. Now, in this crate, you can see these are all weapons that are actually not in the base game either. So, as you can see, this adds everything. The FAMAS, which is a French assault weapon, several anti-material rifles, some LMGs right there, the HK417, which is another assault weapon, and then these over here actually add even more. We'll go to this one because it contains everything that the HAFM pack adds. And this adds your basic M4A1, an M4A1 M203, HK LMGs, and M60, Colt 1911, which is probably one of my personal favorite pistols in the world. And we'll go ahead and toss a silencer on that as well and grab some ammunition for it. But, you'll notice that this adds some other stuff as well of its own. It's got a few aim points here, an MP5, some general more modern weapons. This game does take place in 2035. And, again, you'll notice detail on this. The slide actually does move. The hammer will go forward and back. The slide of the pistol, when the magazine is empty, will stay back. Here, clicking empty, pull the mag out, new mag in, slides back into position, ready to fire again. Now, another minor detail that you may have not noticed so far is actually the lighting. I do run a lighting mod that improves the quality of sunshine. You'll notice that there's actually increased fog as well. and you can see kind of light filtering through the fog, kind of becomes diffused as it gets towards the ground and creates more of a shadow effect. And what's really cool, especially in Arma 3 with the lighting engine, is you'll notice that each of these little ravines actually has a shadow for all the nooks that would actually have shadows in real life. So as you can see, like the shadows down here actually have shadows going into that nook, and that's really something that moving into like this game, especially using lighting mods, that makes, you know, it's the little things that really brings it together. But down here, of course, all these guys are hand placed. These are actually the characters that you can play. This is the starting position of this particular mission, the goal of the mission being to clear out these different positions around the map. But really here, that's really all we have set up right now to kind of show you the difference that mods allow, especially in terms of weapon equipment as well as detail on these soldiers. But as a final thing, what I really would like to do is jump over onto the enemy side, and we're going to take a look at some of the enemy infantry, as well as some of the other stuff that this modding has allowed us to do. Alright, welcome back, guys. Like I said, we're going to be taking a look at the other side. You'll notice my uniform has changed. This, much like the uniforms that I was showing you a minute ago, is actually a custom uniform for the Public Liberation Army of China in futuristic warfare. But really what we're looking at over here is actually the Iranian forces on this map, or on this particular mission that I've been working with, and kind of their behaviors. And what you'll notice here, excluding the Ifrit, the vehicles don't have that. What you'll notice though is as we look around, you can see men moving about, kind of, you know, moving from position to position, trying to find cover, and really just kind of taking advantage of their surroundings, and, you know, really, I guess the AI is dynamically interacting with the environment around them. Now, what's really important with that is that in basic Arma, the AI does not do that. Largely, the AI will stand in one position. If they get shot at, they might crouch down if you're lucky, but they'll stand in one position and just shoot back, and their accuracy has been questionable, and by questionable I mean they're so accurate at long range, it's really kind of ridiculous. So what we've done in the modding community is actually a man named Kronsky, his tag is Kronsky, it's kind of a nice name, has released basically the Urban Patrol script. Now this is a line and basically a file of code that the game executes as a mod file. Essentially, it's kind of hard to explain in kind of layman's terms, but just think of it as that way. It's a file that's executed on these specific units, added by the mission creator, in order to add dynamic behavior to them. Like I said, you'll notice that as we move around the city, these guys are generally constantly in motion, looking for cover, checking their surroundings, moving from place to place, and generally acting a lot more alive than they would otherwise being. And that's really important because a lot of the problem that you'll run into, especially as a mission creator, is once you create a mission, it becomes really easy to fall into a kind of rivet of just doing the same thing over and over again. And by that I mean if you don't have kind of, you know, a randomization of where things are at, then you're always going to be able to kill the same people in the same places, and you know, it's not really fun after so long. And that's kind of the thing, especially in Arma, that you're going for, is you want to create content in such a way that, you know, people will want to play it. Arma 2 was alive since its release until now, and I believe it originally released, I want to say, maybe around 2008. I'll have to actually check that. But it released several years ago, and its community and its mod community are still thriving and alive today because the idea that you create content that way, it basically will never die. So by adding this Urban Patrol script, not even I can predict the movements of these infantry. These infantry are entirely dynamic in everything they do, which means that even I can play through this mission, though I created it, over and over again and never experience the same battle, the same outcome, or the same objective more than once. And obviously that added dynamic elements to it, unlike the buggy features of the normal Arma mission, which we looked at a moment ago. You know, it really fleshes out what the Arma series was meant to be. And, you know, as we walk around the city, there aren't civilians yet, unfortunately. I intend to populate it with civilians later. But, you know, as we watch these guys run around and do their thing, and I apologize for the slight lag on screen, it's, you know, there's over 200 AI interacting at once with all the calculations done on a moderate laptop CPU, so it's not exactly the smoothest thing. But with all these calculations and everything happening at the same time, it really changes the experience for the better. You know, it makes the missions dynamic, it makes the interactions with the player dynamic, and, you know, these guys can be anywhere in the city, they can be in any building, there's patrols that roam out in the hilltops, vehicles that I actually have set to patrol roads out in the island, they'll occupy buildings, and one of the more interesting things, I can actually demonstrate it right here for you, is not only that they'll do that, but
Ceasefire.
let's see, how many times do I have to shoot you for you to lay down? As you'll notice, now this guy's going to fall over, and not only will the interactions with the player be dynamic, you could probably just hear it, the AI will actually come to heal this guy. Now this isn't in the base game either. Now, I also have a script running that I personally modified that allows these guys to basically command their AI to come over and heal this guy. Now, that allows them also, they can drag him around. You can see the drag command there up in the top left. To a safer area. This guy's a medic. He'll try and heal him if he can get close enough, provided they're under fire. Of course, they're not, so he's just kind of dicking around until he can help this guy. But more importantly, let's get this guy on the ground. Now, if he healed that guy, this dude will get up. Now you'll notice he's fully armed, ready for action.
Ceasefire.
Let's see if we can get one of them to lay down here again. I'm sorry for this taking as long as it is.
Rearm. 2 o'clock.
Now I'm going to chase this guy down because obviously we don't want our little friend getting away.
Ceasefire.
Okay, so he's going to lay down again. Now, an interesting thing with this also is the fact that if an enemy takes him over, which I don't think it'll work since I'm actually playing as a Op 4 guy here, but we'll go ahead and try it anyway. But if an enemy infantry instead was to revive this guy,
7. Rearm.
it'll actually let them take him hostage. Now, that might not seem like a whole lot, but a human body shield in the middle of an intense firefight with the AI, you know, can really offer a new dimension of gameplay, which previously wasn't available to the player. So as you can see, this guy's still armed, so that didn't quite work since we're actually on their side. But, you know, it's the idea that counts, I guess. But, so, I guess with that in mind, we'll go ahead and bring this to a close. Getting absolutely destroyed by the AI. But thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. And I kind of hope this maybe, at the very least, opened your eyes into really what modding is capable of doing, not only to the business aspects, which were kind of detailed more heavily in the article section of this, but also in like the gameplay possibilities themselves. But until next time, guys, cheers and thanks for watching.